This is Coogie Bear for iFILM London. With me, I've got Eddie Hearns. How are you, Eddie Hearns?
Right, Coogie Bear.
I'm
Don't
right.
get too close to me. People start talking.
I think they already are started talking.
It's bad news, isn't it?
Listen, I want to apologise first of all. I did an interview yesterday, and no, seriously, I went home and I felt distraught. I thought it just clicked on me on the train home. I thought, you know what? I actually have an interview with Eddie today, and I felt a bit sad over
I
it.
thought you were just getting paranoid because of my parody account on Twitter.
No, nothing to do with that. I just generally was a bit, I thought you slipped away because you didn't want to do it.
What happened yesterday? Yeah, well, Purdy, we had some problems with Purdy making a weight, and it's all a bit messy. But I came back to do the interview, and my Coogie Bear weren't there. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe this is a sinking ship between me and you.
Maybe.
Tonight, Darren Barker. And I do that a lot, don't I?
Maybe it's just a sinking ship.
Darren Barker. How did you think he looked in them 4 rounds?
I thought he looked great. I mean, it's a little bit one-sided. Yeah, I thought 3 of the fights were. You right, Don? You right, mate?
Is that Don King or Don Charles? Sorry.
I hope it was Don Charles.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, Darren was fantastic. He's got this new sort of venom about him where he wants to get things over quickly, and he knows that he's a level above those kind of guys. I've got to give him those fights because, he fought Sergio Martinez in October 2011 and didn't fight again till December last year. So he's had 2 fights in 3 months now, and that's done with the, I won't say easy fights, but that's done with the European level stuff. And now we've got to sling him in a big fight in the summer. Groves was very good, very flash, very exciting. Opponent obviously was a little bit of a walkover, but we had a week and he was added to the show at last minute. And Purdy was okay, Rivera was awkward. I was glad it was stopped when it was because Purdy struggled on the weight and I thought he was fading. So Conor Evangelou was brilliant, start to the night, it's my favourite fight of the night. And then Waddy against China Clark was unbelievable. So a good show.
Shinkwin Taylor?
Yeah, Shinkwin Taylor was brilliant. Obviously that wasn't on TV, but that was a really good fight. Ryder was good. O Ching at the end there, that was good. So yeah, a good show. I wouldn't say it was a screamer, but I mean, it was decent. I mean, when you look at the number of fights that are on and the number of sort of, just because one fight is a little bit one-sided or 2 fights doesn't mean there's not another 4 or 5 fights on the bill or whatever. But listen, we're putting ourselves in the shop window at the moment. We're going to get fired down a little bit by people. That's what happens. You're on the way to the top, and everyone gives you a push. And then when you get to the top, people try and push you down. So we've got to keep producing the results, and we've got to go beyond our means to make people happy. Like, tonight was a good show, but people will say it wasn't good enough, it was average. And, do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Eddie Hearns. I'm going to just ask you some questions now and just answer them if you want to answer them. Have we got any more news about Kell Brook and May the 18th? When's it going to be confirmed? It's just seems like it's going on forever and ever.
Firstly, I don't answer a question that you ask me.
I know.
Secondly, we've been told it's May the 18th, Atlantic City. Golden Boy were due to announce this week, but didn't. I think they've got a lot going on. They've got Cloud against Hopkins this weekend. But I spoke to Schaefer this week, and he tells me May the 18th, Atlantic City is on.
So, as regards to a confirmation, that has to come from obviously Golden Boy.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, it's easy for me just to blab, but it's disrespectful as I'm not the lead promoter of the show. Start making announcements. So, he asked me to wait for the announcement. He told some people himself. They asked me, and I said, well, that's what he tells me, but let's wait for the confirmation, which I expect to come this week. But
will you make an offer to Matthew Macklin or Martin Murray to fight Darren Barker this year?
I'm not sure the Macklin fight with that. I mean, Matthew's got some big ideas of what he wants, who he wants to fight, and he may get those. And if he can get a Chavez fight or if he gets a Golovkin fight, then I'd expect him to take those over Barker. What people have got to understand is, just because the fans want it to happen, and Sky wants it to happen, and you want it to happen, it doesn't mean it should happen. Do you know what I'm saying by that? And what I mean is, these people are professional people who are in a job to make the right decisions and earn the most money possible. So if I said to you, there's this job on offer The money's not great, but everyone thinks you should do it, and I think everyone would be over the moon if you took it. You go, yeah, but it's not the right money and it's not the right opportunity. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not sure if I've explained that right. But what I'm trying to say is there needs to be the right money available for that fight. And I don't think with Matthew Macklin's expectations, we could create the right amount of money through the fight to keep him happy and give Darren the payday he deserves for that kind of risk fight. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think there's more chance of Barker Andy Lee. There's more chance of Barker Martin Murray if he's not successful against, because I think those guys are a little bit more realistic. Macklin's got bigger ideas, which he may get as well. But any of those big domestic fights, they're great. But if a world title fight come up or a big opportunity like that, they get pushed to the side. It's not a case of just making them because everyone wants it. It's my job to try and keep people happy, but if it's not the right fight and it's not the right money for my client in Darren Barker or my friend, I'm not just going to stick him in and say, look, take the money because everyone wants it. There's a good lad. Do you know what I mean? This is people's careers you're talking about. So, but I'm well aware that they are the right fights to make.
Obviously, you're signing everyone and their grandmother at the moment. So, hold on.
Well, I'm signing
Some people saying that you doing this is a little bit bad for boxing. What would you say to that?
All right, okay, then I'll just stop signing people.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Listen, I've heard a few people say it, to be honest. That every fighter to go with one specific promoter.
Yeah, but it's different because I'm not afraid to put those fighters in with each other. So look at me if you want as a matchmaker rather than a promoter.
So you will, if you have to, put in the Frotches with the Groveses and etc. etc.
If I've got every fighter, how can I not? That's what you're talking about. I mean, listen. There's a problem in British boxing at the moment. Fighters are not getting paid, right? So I want the board to act, and it seems to me that consistently we are one of the minority who pay fighters within the British Boxing Board of Control rules, which is £3,000 or less on the night of the fight, over £3,000 within 7 days. Outside of us, I believe there's 80 or 90% of promoters who are not paying within that time frame, and some promoters that quite frankly take the piss the way they pay their fighters. And I think it's an absolute disgrace, and I'm speaking to the board and I'm trying to make changes. But the bottom line, is this is an industry where fighters give their life and soul in a gym for months on end in camp, get in the ring, and then basically put their life on the line and their health at risk, only to wait 3, 4, 5 months. There's more checks bouncing at the moment than you do interviews. And it's disgusting and it's bad for boxing. And the board have got to act and fighters have got to stand up for their rights. So at the moment, it's not really that difficult for me to sign fighters. And while I can sign such great fighters and try and do great fights and great things, we've got a 2-year contract with Sky. We are 7 months into that contract. I think we've had a good start. But there's plenty more to go and there's plenty more to do. I've been a boxing promoter, a licensed boxing promoter, for less than 2 years. I've got bundles to learn. I'm by no means a finished article. Sometimes I do things right, sometimes I do things wrong. But I think I've got a good understanding of what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to achieve. Now I've totally forgotten about your question. Is it okay for me to sign every fighter? Listen, if I'm delivering fights, good fights for fighters, I'm paying them on time, where else do you want to go? And they're boxing as regular as they are.
To be honest, the question was really directed at the fact of if all the fighters are with you, will they actually, will they fight you, then where will your interests lie if a Frotch is fighting a Groves?
Listen, my interest lies in it being a great fight and saying to 2 of my clients and 2 of my friends, which, all my clients are, get in there, listen, if you want the fight, do you want the fight? Yeah, I do. Do you want the fight? Yeah, I do. There's a pile of money, good luck to you. And if you lose, there's plenty more fights for you, because I've got loads of dates. And if you win, we're going to do something massive. But that's just the way it is. And sometimes there'll be conflicts along the way. When you get 2 fighters who fight each other, generally you fall out with one, because he thinks, he wanted him to win. My dad told me that all along. But, Eubank against Collins was a great example of that for him, But I've got no problems. I mean, we're doing some work with Andy Lee. I'd love him to fight Darren Barker. obviously we promote George Groves. In 12 or 18 months, I'd love him to fight Carl Froch. You know, so it's not a problem for me. And we've got loads of young kids coming up at similar kind of weights, and sometimes they're going to fight each other. But look at me sometimes as a matchmaker rather than just a promoter. I've got a job to deliver for my fighters and for my broadcaster. So it's not about matching each fighter individually. You know, look at, you know, all the great lightweights out there at the moment. Gavin Maurice, Kevin Mitchell, Anthony Crolla, Derry Matthews, Ricky Burns. Big domestic setup there. You know, they can be matched together. Look, Derry's fighting Crolla. Crolla could win, he could fight Reese. Reese could fight Mitchell. You know what I mean? And if I had those fighters, it didn't matter. That would still happen. You know.
All right. Oh, it's very insightful, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I do waffle on a little bit sometimes, but...
You sound like you're losing your voice as well, you are.
Yeah, because I was screaming for Ryan Taylor. What people don't understand as well, going back to that, is talk about one-sided cards. Ryan Taylor, our lightweight, versus Liam Shinkwin, he lost tonight for the Southern Area title. Chris Evangelou, our light welterweight, lost tonight for the Southern Area title. Wadi Camacho, our cruiserweight, lost tonight for the Southern Area title. So I've had 3 fighters who lost in title fights tonight.
50-50.
Yeah, there wasn't enough. I mean, listen, we had a little bit of bad luck with Carson Jones. That would have been a great fight with Lee Purdy. That would have been a better fight than obviously the one that was. Barker was just too good, and Groves was a week notice. So that's the 3 that, you know. But like I said, I'm not going to sit here and go, what a show, it was unbelievable. Wow, did you see that? Did you see that? It was good. In my opinion. Right. Too many promoters talk some right shit. I do talk some shit sometimes, but you know, when they sit there and go, he's the next Marvin Hagler. That was like Leonard Hearns. That was, you know, I mean, you know. No, the Evangelou Conor fight, it was ability-wise a 7 out of 10. Heart and entertainment, a 10 out of 10.
All right.
Is that it?
That's fine. I think we've pretty much run out of tape.
You always say that.
Listen, one last question.
Yeah.
How many people can we expect to join Matchroom in the next 6 weeks? You're joking, surely?
No. We will announce a new sign on Monday.
Yep.
We will announce another new signing, probably on Wednesday or Thursday. And I'm not exaggerating when I say I've got about 16 fighters calling me non-stop. And you wouldn't believe the level of some of those fighters that are calling me, you know. And I'm not trying to give it the Larry Large and, you know, the Barry big one, but things are good. Things are good, and it's exciting. But I don't want to get into a position where I take too many fighters on, and I can't do a job for them, and I promise them so many fights, and I can't deliver it because I'll never ever do that. But I'll see you Monday, yeah.
I will see you Monday. They've cleared the ring.
No, do you know who it is on Monday? No.
Is it not?
No. This is great because we did it with Groves the other week, and now he got out. But that person you said.
Is that not it is?
No, that'll be the one after.
Oh, because I've been giving it the big one to people that I know. There was a couple of journalists was going to me, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? I was thinking, yeah, I know, and I've done it all.
It's big. It's big.
Oh.
It's big.
This is Coogan Cassius. See that light flashing? That means we're out of tape. Coogan Cassius with Eddie Hearns, aka Eddie Hearn for iFILM London. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Coogie Bear.
No worries. Thank you.